And welcome into the Thursday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. For homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in, visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, how we doing? What's going on?
Oh, man. Doing okay. Came in hot today. Be careful out there. I did not take the highway, which I normally do. And I will tell people that if you're going on 24 east, I don't know if there's accidents, but based on the delays, I think there may be. So that's my very vague hypothetical traffic report for you. I'd be careful. So I went Murfreesboro Pike, which I never do anymore because it's gotten way too packed. It's like maybe it was just today because of the weather, but today, at least, it was like triple at least the traffic that I encountered for years. So I know it's a bad weather day, but please stop moving here. I'm in my 11th year here, and it's enough.
Well, it's just, I think it's just the rain. Like for whatever reason, people, the moment it starts raining out there, they've come to the realization, I guess, that they just can't drive. I don't know. Like it's either you're going way too fast, you're going way too slow, and there's a middle ground that if everybody would just do it, it'd be fine. Like just go.
Yeah, you may be right. And I got behind the way too slow person also for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to be like safe and not be a jerk and not like cause an accident, but also like I really wanted to like jump out of my car and just grab the person for a minute,
exactly.
And just shake them, just be like, please, hey, you can't go 10 under.
I'd like to introduce you to something. There's a gas pedal down there that your right foot's welcome to hit at any point. That'd be great.
I was like, oh gosh, I should have gone to the highway and just tried to weave around an accident. I mean, what am I doing?
Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Doing just fine, thanks. It was what up? It was raining. Yes, it was raining. And as Robby said, head on a swivel. We got some fast cars. We got some slow cars. We got some trucks. No offense to our boy Mark in Nashville.
Yeah.
Appreciate the truckers, but sometimes they act like they own the road. And which I get lots of stuff to do. You're on the road a lot. And yeah, I don't know. Somebody was I going 65 northbound? Somebody was in the left lane on the shoulder. Accident, flipped the opposite direction, facing the other way up against the wall.
Ooh.
So
not what you want.
Yep, yeah. There was a little bit of wreck out there. There was only one police car, but people were slowing down, So head on a swivel. Let's be a little bit busier out there today, I'd imagine. But yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks. It was I told Robby finally got some yard work done a little bit yesterday afternoon. They said it was supposed to rain. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out and do the backyard. Mowed the back, got the weed eater out.
Now they're getting watered.
And now we're getting watered. So we'll be good for a day or two.
Yeah. I mean, Rexrode said he was coming in hot. He was only 3 hours early for the pre-show meeting. So usually we try to get in that 3.5 hour window and just 3 today for Rexrode.
Yeah. And I know I could tell no dudes he was annoyed, You know how he gets, especially around this time of year.
I do.
So I apologize, Coach.
He'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah. But he's
kind of the motto.
He's
tomorrow.
He's got guys fishing, getting fish out of the one of those rivers. Which
seems like a great idea.
Not. It's like, please do not eat that fish. Yeah. I'll go to the fish market and get you some fish, man.
Yeah, we'll find you some fish. I don't know if I'd eat some from there. We got a lot to get into on the program today. The best and worst things in sports coming up later this hour at 6:45. Charles Robinson from NFL Blue Book will be with us at 8 o'clock for his weekly visit. We'll get into all things NFL with him, as he has been on an exhaustive training camp tour around the National Football League. So looking forward to that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Got some college football to get into later this hour, including just a fashion trend or statement that was released yesterday that people are already talking about on the YouTube chat that we'll get into a little bit later in the show. So looking forward to all that. The Titans had practice yesterday. They will be off today. And then it's joint practice time tomorrow, Joe, against the Seattle Seahawks. So joint practice tomorrow, the game coming up on Sunday night. Some good news on the injury front on a couple of different varieties yesterday, Joe. Jacob Martin back out there, so that's good to see after the knee injury that he sustained in practice in San Francisco. He's back out there yesterday, so that was good. And Mitchell Trubisky back out there as well after dealing with a biceps injury. So whatever Saleh was hoping for, it looks like it played out that way with Trubisky, and he was back on the field yesterday, which means, Joe, Trubisky back out there. He's participating in practice. I'm looking at Jimmy Wyatt's report right now. It bumped Levis down a little bit. He didn't throw 20-some-odd passes like he did the day before. I think he was at 19 yesterday. And Hendon Hooker did not have an attempt.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Levis was at 16.
Okay.
Hendon Hooker, 0.
0 attempts. So I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know what that means for Sunday. For him, obviously, we had talked about the possibility of maybe Trubisky, biceps. Ooh, that sounds – it must have been obviously very minor. Although some people were saying he looked like he was throwing it more sidearmed yesterday. And it's like, if it's enough to make him change his throwing, I don't know if that's the case or if he's just like trying new stuff, or maybe he's like watching Cam Warren saying, that looks pretty awesome. Let me try that.
Maybe so.
We talked about the possibility of Trubisky not participating Sunday, which opens the door for more Levis, which frankly would be more interesting to me, and opens the door for some Hendon Hooker. So I don't know. Are they going to continue with the outright disrespect of the Vols fan, who is also the Titans fan?
It could be. Could be. Who knows? Carnell Tate did not practice yesterday. Saleh saying it's not related to the hit he took on Monday, but he did wake up with some stiffness. So hoping that he's back. But of course, I hear that, and I'm like, that kind of sounds like it may be related to the hit that he took on Monday.
Seems like a hit would cause stiffness, right?
Yes, you would think so.
Saleh made a comment about it, like, oh, he was a little. We don't think it was concussion. Maybe he was just a little dizzy.
Yeah,
he said like he was a little. I was like, that didn't sound great.
A little dinged up. Gave him some smelling salts. Got his butt back out there.
In the olden days,
1993 again.
Yeah, that's how you did it. So. He said nothing to be concerned about, so I would look for Carnell Tate to be back out there tomorrow as the joint practice gets underway against Seattle, but he was not on the field yesterday. Ward, 21 of 31 yesterday, 4-6 in the move the ball period. He got picked off by Alontae Taylor in like the Hail Mary thing, so whatever. That's fine. And going through a Hail Mary period. And apparently, as we're going to get into in the next segment, safety Kevin Winston all over the field yesterday. PK was talking about him. It's the first thing Jimmy Wyatt started talking about in his 10 observations from Titans practice yesterday was Kevin Winston. And, Joe, that's a good development of apparently, he's clearly been the team's best defensive back during training camp. He was good yesterday, and Kuharski had a tweet yesterday about, the best play he saw in practice after he got done with his convocation yesterday was Winston making up some ground, diving to break up a pass along the sideline that Cam Ward, bought a little extra time on. So the reports, Joe, seem very positive on the Kevin Winston front out there, which is good to see.
Yeah, it's been kind of a consistent thing, even going back to TD, talking about him as like the guy that, that he has his eye on as, as someone who really could take a big leap this year. And it's exactly what you hoped when you drafted him. Nick Saban talking about him as a first-round pick when the Titans got him. Obviously, he had the knee injury, and so you kind of figured the rookie year would be a wash, but that this year you hope would be, a big breakout opportunity. And it looks like it's trending that way, which is great. That's another young player that they have who looks like he really is gonna be a part of a core. He looks like he could be one of their core pieces. Now, making some plays in camp and showing off the range. You want to hear about range? We already knew he's physical. Carnell Tate may or may not know that now from yesterday, but the range is what that's what you're looking for, right? And especially look, if Amani Hooker is slowing down a little bit, then that puts even a little bit more on him in some situations. But he could be one of those guys. Still want to see it in games. Still want to see you want to see that translate to Sundays. But I think it's exactly what you're hoping to hear so far about him.
Tony Pollard back out there yesterday after missing a couple of days, so good to see him back on the field. I'm kind of in your camp, Joe, where I'm sure we'll see him on Sunday. I don't necessarily need to see Tony Pollard in the preseason game, but good to see him back out on the field. It did get to the point a couple of days ago where I was like, there's no Pollard out there. There's no Singleton out there. There's no Mullings out there. You're getting a little thin on the running back front, so good to see Pollard back out there.
Yes, PK sort of told people like don't over analyze the running back signing, and I think it's clearly bottom right now. Again, could that mean Mullings, somebody in there more hurt than we realize right now? Yeah, but the main guys who are going to be a part of this seem to be fine. We'll see with Singleton. I mean, Singleton is again one of those guys who you hope to see a lot of here leading into the season, and you hope he can stay healthy because I do think that he's a really interesting player in terms of their future. But Pollard being back there is great, and I would just think that that you just wouldn't mess with too much Tony Pollard in this game ahead. You've got a good player there. I think he could have a pretty good year behind this offensive line. So you get some other guys some work. Your guy Tyjae Spears, get him some more work so you can finally get excited about him.
Something to monitor on the Keldrick Falk fronts. I mean, he got evaluated for a shoulder injury yesterday, and I think Saleh said they're hopeful that it's a stinger. So we'll see kind of what that looks like. But I mean, when you really think about it, you had Carnell Tate not out there yesterday, and then Keldrick Falk leaving in the practice. So both your first round picks dealing with some level of discomfort out there.
And Andrew tweeted, our friend Andrew, he's not really a friend of the show. He's a topic of the show.
Yes.
Andrew said he said it looked like they were popping it back in. You don't like hearing that.
No,
you don't love hearing about
that's not great.
You don't love hearing the shoulder being popped back in. So now
that would not necessarily add up to the hopeful that it's a stinger, but yes.
Right. Now, could he be wrong? Could it have been they were just kind of looking at it and they didn't actually do a pop back in? I don't know. I mean, do we trust him? I don't know. Andrew, sometimes a little hazy, So but that, that's a really interesting thing. I'd like to see some clarification on that. Actually.
I'm surprised Andrew ever takes his eyes off Simmons at practice. You never know what maybe coming around the corner.
That's a good
Keep your head on a swivel out there.
Yeah, it probably has I don't know. I'm sure you can get something on your phone where it's if the number 98 gets beep, 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 and you just start running.
It's like his own version of a tornado warning. It's Jeffrey Simmons is within 6 feet of me.
I better leave.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Off and running on Robby and Rexrode. Lots more to get into on the Titans. We welcome your questions at 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Jeff in Nebraska wondering if we ever figured out what happened to Ian's wildflowers out there. We have
Good question, Jeff.
not identified a culprit yet. I don't know if we're leaning more towards wildlife or a human actor in this thing, pulling the flowers out from the bed here.
Yeah, we haven't checked the tape yet, or at least I haven't been notified of the tape results.
So when you think of wildlife, then we would be thinking like deer.
That's what I would be thinking. Deer.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do they ever traipse around here?
Yes.
I mean, yes. Now I would assume that they try to avoid,
well, the front
Murfreesboro
area,
Road.
Yeah, I
right,
hope
is
so.
like the parking lot.
Yeah.
And there's we have some bright lights out front there. So that makes me skeptical that they would venture into the light like that. We definitely have them in the backyard here in the back where we got some woods on both sides and they kind of cross. I've seen them cross the street before, go across the street to the woods over there.
That's a bold call.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, but no, we have not checked the tape yet, Jeff, at least not that I've heard.
Okay.
I brought it up. I said, hey, has anyone said anything to you about the flowers? That they might not look good or something looks off about them? And he's like, no, I think they look great. And I'm like, okay, well, I've had a few get yanked out. So I'm not sure if it was, our owner Bud thought maybe they weren't looking good. Sometimes it takes the flowers a couple of days, maybe a week to recover from the transplant. And then they come back looking good. So there was maybe a transition phase that I thought maybe, hey, but oh well.
I think it's probably Vingan.
Do you?
He kind of seems like he might be the flower thief. He gets there, maybe takes it home. I think Vingan's the
I
culprit.
could see that.
Yep.
Okay. I was gonna say Chase just on a power trip. Just like
They're at award ceremonies. They're not out there doing.
He's
that.
out here winning every award. You know what? I'm gonna have these flowers how I like.
Just ready to do it. Ready to do it. I think Vingan's the culprit.
Okay.
Check the tape.
Well, we need to drive by Vingan's house and see if he's got some new flowers.
I agree.
Out front. Yeah.
I agree. Cool stuff at the end of Titans practice yesterday, doing the ice bucket challenge out there. Obviously, Chris Johnson, Tim Shaw directly affected here with the Titans, but it's been a disease that we've talked about around football, around sports, and cool to see that yesterday as the Titans ended practice of them doing the ice bucket challenge out there. And they did follow it up by challenging the Colts, the Texans, and the Jags. So about to become an AFC South thing. So that's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked, Dayball gets to, in case Cam has been, annoying in any ways. Dayball got to do the dunk on the top of the head there for him. So there you go. I have a question for you just on Titans related, but so Pete, did PK send this to us or did I just see a tweet? All I know is we were talking about Liss. He has another massive story about his life here.
Yeah, he sent us part 2 last night in a text.
Was that planned or did we talk him into doing this?
I'm going to assume it was planned because I don't know when he really would have had time to do this yesterday. There's convocations to get to and practice and all that stuff, but I'm going to assume it was planned.
Yeah. So it's 10 things, which
10 lessons from 3 decades covering the Titans.
10 lessons. And
which I enjoy.
Yeah. No, I haven't read it yet, but it's really long. And I feel like all the topics all make sense. Like, quarterbacks change everything, right? Organizations matter more than individual hires. So I guess, is that talking about ownership, I suppose?
I believe so.
Talent ultimately wins the argument. I don't want to give the whole thing up here, but
you kind of
PK is just emptying the notebook this week. So
it feels like he's on a little bit of a retrospective here, kind of an appreciation tour of 30 years covering the team.
Is he about to retire or something? Is he about to hang it up? Is that what he's doing? Is he sort of telegraphing that to us? I can't imagine that. With Teresa's retiring,
true.
It's kind of changing over there. It's getting younger over there.
It is. It is getting younger over there. No, I think he's going to be around for the long haul. They need him over there, Somebody's got to ask the tough questions.
That's right.
Nobody else will do it.
No one else will do it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. But no, I hope he keeps covering the Titans. I'm sorry to even introduce this topic.
I will say from that standpoint, I was interested to see, how Saleh would be kind of on, every day, you could tell about 4 days, maybe not even into camp when Vrabel was the coach, that the everyday press conference was the bane of his existence.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying that Saleh, loves it and is waking up every morning saying, yes, I get to do another press conference today. But I was interested to see, kind of what that would be like with him. And he's been pretty good. Like I enjoy the insight from Saleh. I enjoyed the insight from Callahan too. So it doesn't mean a whole lot when it comes to, how good of a coach he's going to be.
Yeah,
but I do think that's worth pointing out. I've enjoyed what I've heard from Saleh so far.
Yeah, before everybody turned on Callahan and hated him and thought he was the worst coach of all time. I mean, how much did we talk about that? Oh, my God, it's so refreshing. This guy comes in here and he actually answers questions. And it was. I mean, it is. Like, just strictly from a media perspective, it was very refreshing. But Saleh's good. Now, Jared in Spring Hill on YouTube chat says, I think Saleh just says stuff to say stuff because he has to say stuff and it means nothing. But remember, Jared hates everything about the Titans right now. And again, I'm not even mad at you, Jared. I mean, if you're any Titans fan who's like fed up with everything right now, I completely understand. But I think Saleh has been pretty insightful. There is some times when he kind of drifts into coach speak and it's just like, okay, yeah, he's just trying to get through a question. He's probably somewhere in between those two guys. But of course, what matters is he more like the big romantic from 2 ago and not Mr. whatever you want to call
it. They're going to call him now the big romantic?
Dad takes me and my OC to the mall guy from last time. Yeah. So the big row.
Thank you for hiring my buddy. Be the offensive coordinator.
Oh, God. So no, I think he's been good. And he also does seem – because Kaharski – yes, he's full of crap. Kaharski is when he talks about him being the only one who asks tough questions. That's stupid. Everybody on that beat has asked a tough question. They just don't try to be confrontational with it, right? That's what he does, and he does. He just needles and needles and needles. And so far, it seems like Saleh is not affected by it. He's fine with it.
No, he's cool.
Yeah. Now throw some losses on. Throw a really tough loss on. Throw a really tough loss where coaching mistake was a big factor in the loss, then we'll see. Right?
I can already see a week 1 loss to the Jets and Kuharski getting in there for the first question. Was that all gas, no brakes, Robert? Looked like there was some brakes to me. Thanks. Put a little brakes on your coaching, please.
Is that their motto?
All gas, no brakes. Yeah, it's all over
he's
the
already
place.
used that though.
That's his thing.
So that's just like his
own slogan. Yeah.
That's not even an annual thing. It's like
it's brick by brick.
All gas, no brakes. It's
Fast and violent.
Yeah.
I think Joe's entire opinion of Saleh just changed immediately.
It's fine. I mean, all these coaches come up great coaches come up with goofy slogans too. Although, and I know everybody hates Belichick now.
Do your job.
What?
Do your job.
Yeah. What was is that what Belichick's was?
Yes, do your job.
Like it was actually a slogan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. See, there you go. Like basically it's like I'd like a list of coaches who never had a slogan. Like I bet you Tom Landry never had a freaking slogan. He just wore that awesome hat and just kicked everybody's butt. You know?
Callahan didn't have one, did he?
Did Joe Gibbs have a
Callahan
slogan?
wasn't here long enough to develop a slogan, I don't think.
Yeah, it's true. I don't remember Callahan. I mean, he was like, hey, let's play Ring Around the Rosie and I'll get Trust Falls. Whatever.
Great coach.
Yeah.
Ed says, Joe, do you miss the Titans beat?
No. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I really enjoyed covering the Titans when they were good.
Sure.
like I had a blast covering and coming here from a college beat and doing still college, but doing pro. I really enjoyed that. It's funny because I was on the Michigan State beat. And then, like, all this crap, they started to be terrible in football. All this stuff happened. And, I mean, Larry Nasser, all these things happened up there. And I was like, well, I'm not sad that I'm not on that beat right now. As my friends who still were just, like, pulling their hair out on a daily basis. I will say, like, with this last couple of years with this team, I'm not. And I'm sorry, Now,
kind of sounds like it's you. Like, you leave a beat and it just the whole place implodes.
Yeah. Now, granted, I did still cover the 23. That's the last team I covered on a daily basis. So that team stunk. Right, 23 stunk.
At least they started. Yeah, they weren't very good. You're right. They stunk.
22 was the team that completely collapsed.
Correct.
23 pretty much stunk, and
Yeah,
Vrabel
pretty
got
much.
fired and all that stuff. So, but yeah, like the last couple of years of this beat, no. Now they get good again and everything, and maybe it may feel a little different.
He'll be back over there. He's like the Detroit
When
Tigers.
will that happen?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Let's find out.
615-737-1025. Our phone number. We'll get into some NFL headlines coming up next. Best and worst things in sports coming up at 6:45. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Joint practices between the Patriots and the Eagles taking place. A lot of attention yesterday, Joe, on Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown in that particular situation. Jalen Hurts said that he's got a lot of love for A.J. Brown than he always have.
Okay.
A.J. Brown
That's
did
nice.
not have a whole lot to say about Jalen Hurts. He did say, you all should want to report something positive. Asking the question is going to turn negative, so let's not get into that. Let's keep everything positive. It's love my way and just move forward. This A.J. Brown talking to the Philly reporters.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're going to ask the question, so it's kind of you can actually dictate whether it's positive or negative. Like then you give an answer. AJ.
AJ did say, I would not say I'm in a better place mentally. I wasn't in a bad place in Philly, and I'll leave it at that. So, okay. Whatever you say, bud.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man.
Very interesting. Vita Vea, that situation comes to a close. A 1-year contract worth $30 million for Vita Vea. So he finds his way back with Tampa Bay after sitting out and at one point requesting a trade from the Bucs. They've got a deal done there. Alvin Kamara is going to miss at least a month with a sprained MCL on the injury front, so that's not good. And then Jaden Higgins, Texans wide receiver, tore his ACL out for the season. Joe, a lot of ACLs so far in training camp in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's just brutal. And man, they've just had terrible luck with with their receivers. But that's too bad. I mean, I think he was going to be, he was only. He was what, last year's? Was he a second-round pick?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, second-round pick, yeah. But I always liked him a lot at Iowa State. I think he was going to have a good year. The Tank Dell injury there was horrific. I feel bad for him. I mean, that's too bad. And it's every camp. There are going to be key players on good teams who are lost, and then how does that change the math? I mean, then the Texans, obviously, as you've talked about, like that might be the best defense in the league. I think the overall roster, I would say, especially like however you want to judge, CJ Stroud. But I mean, I think on paper it's the most talented roster in the AFC South, and that could hurt.
There's an interesting story at ESPN.com that I'm in the middle of reading. You will enjoy. The title of which is this, Joe. Why the Lions NFL coaches believe Super Bowl chances are possible. And the headline and quote here from Dan Campbell is, our window is not closed. It's not close. That was the whole reason why we did this. We fell short last year talking about some of the moves they've made. We needed to get in the playoffs, and now it's about matchups, where you're playing, who you're playing, all those things. But the window, not closed, according to Dan Campbell, head coach of the Detroit Lions. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, they'll blow it, but they could be good. Losing Cade Mays hurt.
Yeah, it's not good.
I mean, I guess he'll probably be, what was it, 8 weeks? So he'll probably be in after about 4 games or something like that. So that's not terrible. It's not, both their safeties are hurt. But the thing that a lot of Lions fans have pointed out is like, oh, so Terry Arnold's going to play for the Seahawks? Oh, sweet. Awesome. Why did we have, if he's going to be in the league and he might be fine, and why did you cut him?
That whole thing is just weird.
It is. So some people think it's because he said he lied to somebody there about the whole thing at some point, and that's one of those things where it's like, I'd yell at someone, demand an apology, and if they're that good at football, I'd probably still employ them. I mean, if we're being real in this league, I mean, now the team in your conference is better because you let them have one of your players. I mean, that's just what it is. So no, the Lions they'll be pretty good, but they won't get it done.
So are they making the playoffs?
I would probably pick them to make the playoffs right now, just because their schedule is. And I know sometimes we look at these schedules, it's like, ooh, look at that last place schedule, and then 3-4 of those teams are way better than we think, and all that. But based on their schedule, they kind of lucked out with the last place tiebreaker. So I would probably pick them to win 10 or 11 games and sneak in, but they're not going to do anything.
Jeez.
Sorry, Lions fans.
I may be the most optimistic view of the Lions you've ever given.
Exactly. I'm trying to be objective and real. I mean, overall, as an organization, they suck and they suck the life out of you. Okay. But, I mean, they're pretty good. You know, I mean, they've got some really good players. Penei Sewell at left tackle. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think he'll be really good because I think he's probably the best right tackle I've ever seen. But still, there are guys who are way better on one side than the other.
Best right tackle you've ever seen. That's a bold statement.
Yeah, I mean,
he's pretty good.
I guess I've just never seen a right tackle who runs like a fullback.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Look to see how much the division odds have changed. I mean, Buffalo, that's a real close one. Buffalo and New England in the AFC East. You got Baltimore, Cincinnati kind of right there together in the AFC North. I mean, even in the AFC South, the Texans and the Jags are like kind of bunched together when it comes to the odds. The closest one, though, is Kansas City and the Chargers. I mean, they're like, I think Kansas City is plus 180, Chargers are plus 185. And Denver, who won the division last year, is third there.
What's there? Plus what?
Plus 210. So in the same ballpark.
Okay.
And then there's the Raiders.
Yeah.
At plus 1,400.
Did you see Fernando Mendoza's interview?
I did.
My goodness. I think he's even more excited than he was when he was winning a championship in
He is
Indiana.
too.
So then the offensive linemen, and then they do their job, and then the receivers do their job, and then if I do my job, oh my God, it's going to be so amazing, and we're going to have all this synergy. And everybody's just like, I'm going to go talk to not all that positive nerd or not that nerdy Kirk Cousins right now. He's, did you see Tyler? I did not see Tyler Biadasz tore his ACL too?
I did not see that. No.
Yeah, knee ACL damage.
Jeez.
Yeah.
ACL damage or tore it?
I saw ACL damage and other knee ligament injuries. I don't know if it was a pure ACL tear.
Okay. That's brutal though.
I don't even know if I've ever heard that phrase before. ACL damage.
Yeah. I don't know that I have either. ACL.
I tell you what, they can't keep like their offensive line last year just went through the ringer. And if you're already starting off this year with offensive line injuries, like that's terrible luck on that front for the Chargers. Like they got to find a way to keep that line healthy. Because the thing is, if the line's healthy, I think it actually could end up being a pretty good line. But I mean, they just went through the ringer last year. They had Slater get hurt last year. Alt got hurt with like an ankle injury that was on and off all year. I think he missed 11 games. He ended up having to have surgery. Now you got Biadasz with damage to his ACL. Like they just have not been able to stay healthy.
Yeah, it's almost enough to make Harbaugh want to come back to college football. Unfortunately, he's banned for life. You have to stick it out, Jimmy Harbs. You have to stick it out, buddy.
Bad stuff there.
Charles spent some time with him. I was very disappointed that, Charles, sometimes Charles, he wants to be careful about what he says and stuff, but I know there was some weird stuff in that interview. I mean, there always is.
You going to press him on it a little bit later?
Yeah, I'm not going to press him on the show because he doesn't want to get into it, but at some point. Ryan in Florida, yes, Mariota got hurt. It is preseason only. If it was more than that, that'd be a team that I could see maybe looking at another former Titan or, another Titan who the Titans hope was soon a former Titan
to be a former Titan.
But he continues to be a current Titan, but he's got to play well. He's got to do something and make
play a lot of quarterback for the Titans on Sunday. Could probably happen that way.
Yeah.
Marcus doesn't need the preseason. We know that. He's ready to go. He doesn't need any preseason football.
Hey, Marcus has been a very good QB too. You have to admit.
Sure.
He's won some games. He's mostly been good. He's made a couple killer mistakes, but for the most part,
he's been a fine backup quarterback,
which
is kind of what I said the whole time.
Yeah. Again, man, if Cam has Marcus's second year, this entire town will be totally gaga about Cam. I mean, they will be gaga about him.
I mean, I agree. Kind of shows you where things are at right now too, but I agree.
Yeah, well, it does, but it also, it shows you that I don't know. Like sometimes it takes years and years to really find out. Unfortunately,
well, took about another year after that. 615-737-1025, our phone number. The best and worst things in sports. Coming up next, we'll take your best things, your worst things on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
The best and worst of the sports week. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is the worst.
You look like you're feeling sorry for yourself.
Believe in miracles? Yes! He's one of one. He is him.
This is a Coke bottle. It's not a crystal ball.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Okay, let's go.
It is time for the best and worst things in sports. We will take your best things and your worst things on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Rexrode, kick us off with your best and worst in the world of sports.
My best is American tennis player Amanda Anisimova, my favorite athlete in America now. And I don't believe I do not believe the explanation at all. Okay. I just want you, if anybody hasn't seen this, she absolutely was downing a beer during a match. It was awesome. I'm pretty sure, I think it might've been Yingling, but it could have also been Stella Artois. I'm not sure. I'm pretty good at figuring out what beer is what. She again at the later clarified that it was Red Bull. Dude, that was not Red Bull. That was a beer. You were drinking a beer. It wasn't. I mean, Red Bull doesn't have the foam, like the nice foamy suds from a beer.
I don't think so.
It's also not that color. Don't lie. I say own it. You know what? What's wrong with Len Dawson used to rip darts on the sideline when he was a quarterback in the Kansas City Chiefs. What's wrong with having a little beer in the middle of a match to calm you down? I'm here for it. I will believe that it's a beer, and Amanda Anisimova will be my favorite athlete.
Whatever works, whatever works.
Exactly. Apparently, if you listen to Le'Veon Bell, Adam Gase is over there just making sure he's all hopped up for these games. There's a lot of stuff going on in sports. Wait, I just forgot my worst. Oh, my worst in sports. This is the last time I mentioned them, I promise to you. So they're dead to me, but I'll go ahead and give them a quick shout. The Detroit Tigers beat the Cleveland Guardians 2 out of 3 and had the White Sox coming in down 2.5. You sweep that series, you're in first place. Well, the White Sox swept them. Yesterday, their horrific bullpen gave up back-to-back homers of the night to lose to the Pirates. The season's over. It's done. I hate you, Detroit Tigers. I love you, but right now I hate you. They're my worst in sports.
Wow. They'll be back. They'll roll off a 5-game winning streak here in a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say it took
Rexrode will be back.
quite a turn from earlier this week.
I won't know it if it happens.
Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see about that. Ian, your best and worst things in the world of sports.
Okay, for best, nothing too crazy, but I am going to go with Nashville SC. 2 wins this week.
Rolling.
Beat Miami 4-1. Then they got the win last night, 1-0 and a late goal. The Leagues Cup didn't go super great. They were shifting the lineup a lot, playing a lot of backups, using the whole thing. So back in, first place, still in the Supporter Shield, looking good. That's going to be my best in sports this week. Nashville SC keeping it hot. And then my worst, I think I'm going to go a little golf here, Robby.
Nice.
I think it's going to be the LIV players trying to return to the PGA Tour. I think that's my worst this week. The whole LIV thing was a disaster from the start. Everybody knew it was going to be a complete money grab. And,
now they can't even finish their season.
Not even real golf. And now it's blowing $6 billion. People, bailing out, purse money's going down. All these guys realize they made a mistake trying to score the money. And that's what you get.
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting to see. I would assume at some point they're going to try to get back in the PGA, but I don't think Rory McIlroy is going to be too happy.
Rory is not letting them in if he has anything to say about it.
We'll see kind of what that looks like. My best in sports, sticking with the golf theme. Scheffler won by 8 strokes. Come on, man. That's the best in sports. He was dominant this weekend.
I'd be disappointed if it wasn't your best
I
in
think
sports.
McIlroy said it best yesterday. If he's going to play like that, we're all effed, is what he said. So it is what it is.
Did he say the word?
No, he just said effed.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens this week. They get underway today in St. Louis in tournament number 2 of the FedEx Cup playoffs. But Scheffler, the best thing in sports this week. My worst thing in sports, Joe, it did not take me long to get there. The 3rd and 4th quarters of NFL preseason football. Let me tell you, I watched a few of them over the weekend. The Titans being one. I watched a little bit of the Packers and the Steelers. And it took me, I had to watch the Titans one because, it's my job. About halfway through the third quarter of the Packers-Steelers when I was like, I just can't do it. I do not care. It is horrendous football. Once you dive into preseason football is not good anyway, but when you dive into the third and fourth quarter of some of these games with some of the dudes that are playing out there, it is rough. I cannot do it. The third and fourth quarter specifically of NFL preseason football, horrific, and I can't do it.
So you support them going back to college football too then?
I do. That's your alternative. Just go play college football forever.
Go back.
Boy, not good out there.
Yeah, no, that's a very good worse. We got multiple at some point. We haven't talked about this in a while. Multiple votes of worse for the WNBA. It's amazing because I've been watching a lot of games, and I think it's a great product right now. Like, it's the number one thing I'm watching in sports. But yes, obviously, all the crap that has gone on around it is like, and leadership, and I feel like the commissioner's, about to be bounced. But it's a really interesting combination of, like, I really enjoying the games and some of the new stars, and Caitlin Clark's, she and Kelsey Mitchell are balling. That team could win it, and then also all the other crap. I think they could be a best and worse.
The dude, a lot of people going Baez for the Cardinals, doing the three home runs to begin his MLB career.
That was
sick.
legit. He crushed
awesome.
a couple
he
of those.
Destroyed
the first one,
Yeah,
especially.
That was awesome to watch out there. One texter says best is Ryan McGee's bottom 10 college football rankings. There's no mention of Vanderbilt.
That's
Not
right.
one in there.
That's
and
right.
The worst, CBS Sports apparently had a prediction of the most NFL interceptions this year being Cam Ward.
Oh boy.
So whoever wrote that for CBS Sports, not confident in Cam Ward this year. He didn't throw a ton of picks last year. Only threw 7, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's not like that was really the issue last year, but I suppose if he plays poorly, he could throw a lot of picks. Jeff from Nebraska says best thing is PK's piece about covering the Titans for 30 years. How the love for PK. Professor Paul out there doing his best work, the Lord's work. Yes, just teaching the youth of America exactly what this country needs.
One texter says, Joe is a man of many talents. He can diagnose gout and tell you exactly what beer you're drinking just by looking at the can from far away.
Look, I know my beer, okay?
So what made you think the color, the foamage? What are you looking for?
Have you seen the video?
I've seen it.
That's beer, right? Like there's
it looks like beer. It's not beer. She's not drinking beer out there.
Especially, dude, especially because of like the head, right? The foam. That's not like you're not getting that on other liquids.
Clip it.
Hey,
what? No, that's what you call it. What you call it.
You ever seen anybody pour a Red Bull into a cup like that? Do we know for sure it doesn't create the foamage?
Yeah, I've seen people drink Red Bull. Yeah, that's like
same color. Same
not
color?
At all.
No?
Not even close to the same color, right?
I haven't had a Red Bull in probably 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm going on. I don't know. I've maybe only had one Red Bull.
Oh, it's a terrible drink. But that's a much more and Red Bull has like the bubbles too. Like it's like a carbonation thing with Red Bull.
Yeah.
Does not have the foam. Sorry guys, the foam. And no, there's no other liquid that has what that had. Plus the color is exactly beer. I will not be convinced otherwise. Beer drinking tennis player, my favorite.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Sometimes I can't make eye contact with Ian. We will get into some college football coming up next. Take your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Property managers, if you manage it, they maintain it. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
I want to quickly, before you lead us to the next topic, Robby, I do want to respond to a texter who makes a point. Questioning, is beer a performance enhancer or not? And he says, I'd say the first 6 yes, anything after getting worse. I will tell you, you put me on a pool table, a dartboard, let's get playing some cornhole, 4 beers, peak performance, peak athletic performance, 4 beers, okay? Then you start, So a beer in a tennis match, I think 1, absolutely. Whatever it does, calms your nerves, calms your stomach. I mean, I absolutely believe that was beer.
So now you're trying to get her banned, for performance enhancing.
Yeah. They wouldn't consider it that, would they?
I don't think so.
No, I mean, I think it's science that like 4 beers makes you a better pool player.
Okay.
So
What about tennis?
Well, I wouldn't think that 4 would be a good idea.
Probably not.
Tennis, there's a little bit more movement, and also this is like professional tennis, so it's like really, really hard.
Yep.
But 1, sure.
When do we start playing with 3 tennis balls out here, huh? When did that happen? I'm going to hit the one in the middle.
Few shots. No, I mean, no one is going to convince me that was not beer. Like, there's nothing that looks like that isn't beer. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. We'll see what if further investigation into this matter leads us to an actual answer at some point.
We're still waiting on the meth lab investigation.
Yeah, still waiting with bated breath on that one. Charles Robinson from NFL Blue Book will be with us at 8 o'clock. We will get into all things NFL with him. We'll have the Rex rant later this hour, all that coming up. But anytime I look at theathletic.com and I see a prominent story written by our own Joe Rexrode, I get very excited. And one of the stories that Rexrode has most recently crafted here is the 25 most interesting people in college football in 2026. Some familiar names around here, Joe, that will be on this list when it comes to the entirety of college football this year, paying attention to that. Couple of quarterbacks around here that people around the country need to be paying close attention to this year.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a homer deal here, getting a Tennessee and Vandy guy in, but Jared Curtis, I mean, I think definitely is a strong candidate and made the list of 25 interesting people. I mean, it's just fascinating when you talk about a 5-star, talk about a decommitment from Georgia to go to Vanderbilt. They play at Georgia. Following up Diego Pavia, all these things. And we don't know right now that Jared Curtis is starting. But, Jared Curtis starting this year, Jared Curtis starting multiple games for Vanderbilt this year, I'd probably bet like a lot of money on.
Yep, same.
So, we're going to see him. I'm confident in that. Faison Brandon is the Tennessee player who made the list for me, and we've talked a lot about him. But that's a different deal. Now, I would probably also bet on him starting games. But I'm still I'm still keeping my mind open on George McIntyre. We go through these things, Robby, and we just look at players and we hear all this stuff and you just sort of, okay, that guy's going to play, that guy can sit down, whatever, this guy's better, higher ceiling, whatever it is. But remember, Josh Heupel, even though these guys are all getting paid, they're recruiting is still largely the same conversations. I mean, obviously it's you got to pay me enough, and sometimes maybe there's a bidding war, all that stuff. But it's still come here, we'll get you ready for the NFL. Come here, maybe you do something academic about a place. Look at our facilities, whatever it is, close to your family, all these things, and it's relationships with coaches. And so, it's like Josh Heupel right now, the idea that he's just going to discard George McIntyre, who's a very talented player and has another year in the system. You got to look at the whole, look at it from a 3D perspective, not just the 2D perspective that I think we often do. All of which is to say, I think he has a chance. And he has a chance to be the starter, and there's a chance that he's just a better option than Faison Brandon. And if that's the case, which is part of why I think he's so interesting, then he immediately becomes like, if he's good, wins the job, wins enough, looks like, okay, they got a dude for next year. Well, okay, then Faison Brandon instantly becomes one of the most talked about possible portal guys in the sport. I mean, that's how it's going to. Now, McIntyre will be too. I mean, people will be interested in him, but I feel like the Brandon, much higher level recruit, 5-star guy. I mean, I think somebody had him as the number 2 player in the whole class, right? 24/7, or I guess 24/7 had him number 10 in the composite. But regardless, he would be high interest. McIntyre would still be of interest. One of them's going to be in there.
Well, for sure. I think too, everything you just said about recruiting, I agree with. And then there's that last part that I just think also just adds a completely different wrench to it. And that is, if you're Heupel, you know that. Like, in the back of your mind that whatever decision you make here, you're losing one of them. And I mean, it's operating in reality. You're losing one of them. On the Curtis front, let's say he went through the whole year and he either didn't play or played very sparingly. Like, Berlowitz wins the job and he just performs really well. And there never comes a point in the season where it makes sense to take him out because he's just playing so well. Well, I mean, at least at that point, if you're a Curtis, you would know that, hey, next year, this is my job. Like, this is what we're going to do. The McIntyre Brandon part of that is really interesting because, I mean, theoretically, whoever wins that job, I mean, they could be the Tennessee quarterback for the next 4 years. I mean,
that's right.
We assume that,
that's right.
Like, if it's Brandon, I think people are assuming, it could be 3 years, then he's going to the NFL. Well, I mean, I need to see him play some college football first before we start talking about the NFL part of it, right? So, like, this could be a program. I mean, in some ways it is a program-defining decision for Josh Heupel in terms of who you choose here, where that choice ultimately leads you. Did you make the right choice? Like, whoever you don't choose, if they go somewhere else and they're really good somewhere else and your guy maybe isn't as good as you thought, well, that's probably not going to play out very well for you if you're Heupel there. So, I don't know. Both quarterback competitions I think are very interesting. Both quarterbacks that you've listed here are of high interest, especially here locally when you're talking about Brandon and Curtis. I do think they're in different situations just given what's around them right now.
Yeah, Jared Curtis, he's going to play. And again, I think that's true of Faison Brandon too, but I know that Brandon is said to have played better than McIntyre in the last scrimmage for Tennessee, but like there are more big moments ahead. And again, I hate to do the playmaker game manager thing. Okay. But stylistically there is a difference. I think, if you're steadier and you just have a better mastery of the offense. And I mean, it is important. It's important for Josh Heupel to make the right choice. And like you said, possibly say, okay, this is going to be the first, at least 3-year starter, right? Like, this is gonna be the first 3-year starter in my entire program. Hendon Hooker, we saw one guy since Josh Heupel's been there who came back as a starter and he almost won the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of a 3-year starter, at least it is like, that's a big deal. Could be really good. I mean, I don't think there's any question what Josh Heupel has done with quarterbacks. But yeah, make the right choice. I mean, I don't think there's a bad choice. You're probably in pretty good shape with either of them. But
question is there a great choice?
Exactly. And are you looking at it and saying, okay, we might win 1 or 2 more games this year with McIntyre, but next year Brandon's going to be unfreaking believable. I can't lose him. That's where it gets really interesting. How much do you make this decision, because you may be like on a real hot seat if you go like 6-6 this year.
Well, and on the Clark Lee side of things, how much do you balance, like, Berlowitz has been here, he's been in the system, he's been in the offense, all those things are important. How do you weigh that against what are just immense physical gifts from Jared Curtis, right? Like, he's a true freshman. He's never played a down in college football to this point. I understand all those things, but I don't know if it's even probably. He's the most physically gifted quarterback that they've ever had. And look, Jay Cutler's pretty darn physically gifted back in the day, and there's a reason he went in the first round. But like in terms of a recruit, it's not even close. Jared Curtis is the most physically gifted player that they've had. So how do you weigh that if you're Clark Lee when it comes to this battle?
Yeah. I listen to Gentry, and I usually try to go to that. You know, I was out of town last week. I usually try to go to that Vandy scrimmage. They always have it open. But listening to Gentry, I mean, you know, in his mind, it's like it's not even close, right? So, which is interesting because that's why I kind of argued with him a little bit. I was like, in the spring, I would have disagreed. What I saw was, you know, Berlowitz looks good out there, and he is talented. He made an awesome throw, and then he did a backflip. I mean, how can you not be impressed, right? But
did he land it better than Scatterbo did?
He did.
That's good.
Yeah. Yes, he did. He much better flipper than Scatterbo, and wasn't coming off a devastating leg injury too when he did it. So smarter and better. But yeah, it's really going to be interesting with that. And does it get to the point of like, you know, you just start the season? I mean, it's because again, like you're going to have some tough games. You have a chance to get all the reps. You have a chance to get all this experience in games that you should win easily, that could really benefit you. If you're splitting time or you're sitting early, then you're going to play later. Well, it might be harder later if you don't have those reps banked early. That's where that gets interesting.
So Faison Brandon, Jared Curtis have made Rexrode's list of college football's 25 most interesting people. We'll take your reaction to that at 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Keep up with training camp with 102.5 The Game for the latest updates, player interviews, and more as you get prepped for the upcoming football season. Coverage of training camp presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants, Parman Tractor and Equipment, Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery, and Tri-State Water, Power, and Air. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up later this hour. Charles Robinson will be with us at 8 o'clock on the program today. Liam saying that it sounds interesting, Joe's list here, the 25, but why not 26 in the year 2026?
Wait, then you have to keep adding after that?
Yeah.
No, thanks.
I mean, how much longer do you think you'll be doing this? They're going to go to 2072?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'll be 99. I'll probably still have to be working by then. Why not? Sure, I'll be in good health.
I'm sure you will.
The real quick point, that Joey Laverne made.
Yeah.
It could be non-alcoholic beer.
Could be.
That's possible.
Yeah. Also be an interesting choice in the middle of a tennis match, but it could be.
It would be. Yeah. But maybe just like the flavor is a comforting thing for you. I mean, there are definitely flavors of certain types of alcohols that definitely comfort me.
Good to know.
Yep. Sure.
Good to know.
Little Michter's rye. Yeah. Delicious.
Mark from Clarksville says Scattaboo will have more rushing yards than Pollard and Spears combined. Well, we'll see if he can, stay on the field.
Hey, let me tell you something, Mark from Clarksville. I was probably the biggest Scattaboo fan in the world.
You were?
Out of college. That guy was unbelievable. And then he was like, CTE, all you got to do is run some calisthenics and you'll be fine. I'm like, what? And then he's like flipping.
Doing backflips on the stage after a broken ankle.
After like 5 ligaments and breaks. It's like,
yeah,
dude, don't do that. He just, the New York Giants backfield may not be the smartest in NFL history. However, they still may be very good and fun to watch.
So we had Justin Williams on the show the other day, Joe. Very good stuff from him. Very kind of taking us behind the scenes of all the legal stuff going on right now in college football. And we've talked about all like the transfer portal stuff and the NIL stuff and the Protect College Sports Act and all these things. I mean, the craziest thing going on at the moment to me is this combination of like players that are in the NFL that are like, hold please. Hey, just in case this doesn't work, let's see if I can get some eligibility still for college football. Like the dude in Tampa, what's his name? Jack Pyburn. Is that his name? He had 2 sacks in the win against the Jets this past weekend in the preseason, and he's an undrafted free agent. And thanks to this Louisiana court ruling that comes in the aftermath of the Colorado decision, I mean, I feel like I'm on Schoolhouse Rock naming all these states that are coming up with all these, different litigation. Yeah. But in the aftermath of the Louisiana's 19th Judicial District Court that granted a temporary restraining order that could allow more than 30 college athletes a 5th year of eligibility. This dude, Jack Pyburn, is like, hey, man, just in case I don't make the roster here in Tampa Bay, let's see if I can still play some college football at the end of all this, which is just, to me, objectively insane. It's hard for me to even wrap my brain around it.
Yeah. Like this could be a rant on the judges because it's just like, man, I mean, I don't expect – look, when it comes down to it, in the early days and say, oh, my God, they're going to lose every single court case, I think most people would be like, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but you can't stop someone from like earning money we live in a free market society. You can't stop someone from earning money, right? I mean, this is professional. There's huge money out there. And also you can't stop people just like these coaches go job to job. You can't stop these athletes from going some other place. So like, to me, I think most of reasonable society kind of, I think, agreed with that or could see it at least, like could understand it. This stuff, and I agree with what the NCAA says, which is when you allow things like this to happen, when a judge gives a temporary restraining order, now you are robbing opportunities of people who should be playing college football, right?
Yes.
So that's like, to me, it's just got to be pretty simple. Like you go pro and yes, agree with anybody who says, well, college athlete, college football, college basketball, that's pro sports. Agree, but it's still, I mean, there's still certain things that are like pro all the way.
We don't
in the
need to
NFL.
be in NFL training camps and be able to still play college football on the end of them. We don't need to be in NBA draft and or NBA G League and still be able to play college basketball in the aftermath of it. I think most people agree with that.
100%. And that is, and so you're robbing, well, already high school athletes who are coming out now. If you're not elite, like the opportunities have already been reduced.
Yes.
Because all these coaches are like, no, I'm just going to go get this kid over here, at the mid-major, and he's ready to go. So already they're having opportunities taken away. Now you do this, and you're taking opportunities away from guys who are in college football who are in position to play for these teams and all this stuff. I think most people look at this as just ridiculous. It's absurd. Nate, but let's make sure we understand what's happening. Like Nate tweet, I think I found it. There was a tweet. Yeah. So Nate, who friend of the show, who often participates, tweeted at me yesterday. He's like, college football is looking less like actual college football. How can the NCAA not do anything? These would be actual violations of NCAA guidelines. Well, Nate, yes, they are violations. This is against NCAA rules, and judges are giving them temporary restraining orders or injunctions to bypass NCAA rules. So, I mean, like the NCAA looks incredibly powerless, but this is not like an NCAA rule that's changing. This is the judges saying those rules can't apply. It's illegal. So how do you fix it? Well, they are hoping this Protect College Sports Act goes through. Don't hold your breath.
I was about to say, I don't know if that's happening anytime soon or at all.
Don't hold your breath. Yeah, right. So, okay, so then what can you do? I do wonder if, obviously we have the one and done rule, right? Which is an NBA rule, not a college rule. Could the NFL not do something? That's something to maybe ask Charles at the top of the hour. Like, could the NFL not say something like, put something in their bylaws to stop this from happening? I mean, if I'm the NFL, I'm also looking at this like really, dude? Like, you're in a camp, you signed a $115,000 contract. Now, part of the rule, by the way, is they have to pay the money back. So if you're going to do this, per the judge, you have to pay back what you made from the NFL and go back. But still, like, if you're Roger, aren't you looking at this like, this is stupid, guys? We don't need people in our league having a backup plan, or even saying, you know what? Okay, so I'm making the rookie minimum, but LSU is actually going to pay me $400K. All right, later. No. I mean, so I do wonder about that, but in the short term, nothing can be done. Now, long term, Protect College Sports Act, it's not going to happen. Long term, what do? You have collective bargaining and you have rules that all the players agree on, and everyone's like, this is never happening again. This is stupid. You're never going back. You agree? Yes. Here's the percentage of money you're getting. Great. We all agree? Super. We have actual rules. When will that happen? Well, I don't know. Danny White's over at Tennessee begging people for years now to actually work on how you can make that work, but a lot of these people have their heads in the sand.
Well, and he's been doing that for a while now, and it doesn't feel like we're a single step closer to that. So we'll see what that looks like.
We are closer in terms of people agreeing with him. Like, there are a lot more ADs. I think coaches have been there. There are a lot more ADs who agree. But again, how does that translate into action? And it's hard. It's really hard because you have right to work states and you have labor laws. Like, it's not going to be easy. It'll be a mess. But I don't see any other way. I don't see another way.
Let's welcome in Nate to the program on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Nate, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
What's up, guys? Yes, I'm sure, as y'all know, and everybody in Nashville knows, I'm a Tennessee fan. But I am asking this straight from the NCAA and, I guess, court's perspective. How can someone from the NFL come back to play college football, have these rules broken, accepted by these courts, but potentially Arian Carter is breaking a NCAA rule, which is stupid, by the way, and we've all complained about it, and he's potentially not going to be able to play, even though he basically did a lesser version of these players that went to the NFL training camps. I mean, is it strictly based off restrictive earnings? Or I just don't understand how the courts can basically be so picky on what is a rule and what isn't.
Yeah, thank you, Nate. Well, I mean, first off, the situation that we're talking about has actually gone to court. I mean, Arian Carter's there's no temporary restraining order.
Well,
Like,
I've talked to Tennessee people who are like, "Hey,
I mean, it may be worth a shot."
absolutely." No, I mean, Tennessee people, like, they're not doing it for him. It's his family. They've decided, you want to go get a lawyer and try, and you might win. But right now, it appears they're just kind of going to take it and like move on, and it's not worth this crap. But that's how. I mean, Nate's not wrong, but that's it. These people got lawyers and sued, and that's the only way he could do it, and it might work if he did. I mean, it's stupid. I agree. Like the NCAA
we
right
all
now,
agree it's dumb.
like the NCAA should look at this right now and say, by the way, everybody, while we deal with this crap, the Arian Carter things, never mind. Forget we ever said it, okay? Just send an email out, but of course they won't do that.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're Carter, maybe it's worth pursuing that.
I think so.
I mean, forget the Furman game. Like, no, I don't think anybody's worried about that. I don't even know if he's worried about that. But, I mean, as we've discussed several times, they're going to need him in that Georgia Tech game.
That 20 tackle performance against Georgia Tech would look pretty good on his film.
It would. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. There's something that Joe Rexrode is absolutely wrong about that we will discuss coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Catch the Metro High School football game of the week every Friday at 7 o'clock on 102.5 The Game. Tomorrow night's game will feature Pearl Cone taking on Montgomery Bell Academy. Before and after the game, Big Joe and Connor Newt will have complete high school football coverage with the game Blitz, powered by Southeast Financial Credit Union. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. I thought some very exciting news yesterday. I'm strolling around, going about my day, and all of a sudden I look on Instagram, Joe, and the Vols have announced that both in 2026 and in 2027, so in 2026 at Neyland Stadium, in 2027 in Tuscaloosa at Bryant-Denny, Tennessee and Alabama coming together the third Saturday in October. Both teams going to be wearing their home unis, baby. We got Tennessee in orange. We got Alabama in crimson. They used to do this all the time. I don't think it's been done since 1970. And now we're back for the next 2 years at least. Tennessee and Alabama, orange and crimson will be out there. And I got to tell you, I've been wanting them to do this for a long time. I think we've talked about it before here on the show. I love it. I cannot wait to see the orange and the crimson out there together on the field this fall. Nothing says fall like those two colors coming together. It's the third Saturday in October. I think it's a fantastic idea. So, Joe, put on display your hatred for history in the Southeastern Conference football and tell me why you hate this so much.
I just think it looks ugly. I love both of those uniforms. I love Tennessee's home uniforms and Alabama's home uniforms. I also love both of their their actual road uniforms. And I like football games with the home team and their sweet home, dark, whatever the color is, jerseys, and the road team in white jerseys. Like, playmaker right now but I've seen tons of this is amazing reaction from you included. You texted me and Ian and I'm like, I don't like it. I don't think it looks as good as whoever's at home and the other team is in white. I know we were talking about this at the Athletic yesterday in the Slack channel, what other rivalries or cool games would be cool like this. And honestly, I went through most of them I don't like it.
Oh, there's one that would be great. USC, UCLA, they should both always wear
their
home jersey.
That one I don't hate because UCLA's are so light. So to me, if you're going to do this, I think one of the home jerseys needs to be a lighter color. I guess you could say the Tennessee orange. I mean, at least there's enough of a contrast, but I like and plus I like to be able to watch a play of a game. Be like, okay, so that one was at Knoxville. That one was in Tuscaloosa. I understand if you see the end zone or whatever, then you would know, but I don't know. I don't think it's that great. I like road uniforms.
Do we think it's confusing for the players at all? The color when they see the flash maybe out of the corner of their eyes? Is there enough difference between the red and the orange that they won't feel who's on whose team?
I would think that those two colors you ought to be able to differentiate out there.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think that when you have whites out there for the uniforms for one team, then I feel like it's really easy for that, And some of these that someone threw out Iowa State, Iowa and the black jersey and Iowa State, the maroon. I'm like, no, man, I think that would look terrible. That's just two really dark colors. Again, I
mean, Georgia and Florida could do this. Be great. The red and the blue.
I could, but I don't like. I
think it'd be great.
First
off, nobody else needs to do it. It's Tennessee and Alabama's thing, so leave it alone.
Yes,
but
yes,
they could do it. There are several matchups I think that could be pretty good.
Immediately get a more Rexrode yelling at clouds again. LOL. That's fine. I mean, I don't want to be a total hater here. I looked at the picture and I think it's cool. Again, I love both of those uniforms, but I really do. I like white road unis and the contrast that you always get with that. And I think some teams' road unis are better than others. Yeah, I agree though. UCLA, USC would probably be the best because those UCLA, they're so light. Ron says Joe likes shirts versus skins. LOL. Well, to Ian's point, I hadn't even thought about that possibility, but it is certainly in basketball, the ability to, with your peripheral vision, to have a feel for where everybody is, the uniform contrast is important. Yeah. I think, but I'm sure that applies in football, can apply in football too. I do think you're probably right that these are different enough. But I think both of these teams look sweet in their road unis too. Like the actual
I like the road
unis.
unis. Yeah. Like I have no problem. Like I guess they call it like the stormtrooper look for Tennessee when it's just the all whites out there. I mean, they look good. I think as much as I hate Alabama, I think their home jersey pretty darn good. I think Tennessee's home jersey pretty darn good. And then when you combine those two things together, I'm looking forward to it. Now, look, they hadn't done this since 1970. So like all the footage they were showing yesterday, I mean, quality of film's a little bit better now. They may get out there on the third Saturday in October this year, and both of them trot out there in their home unis, and I may hate it. I have no idea. On the surface, though, I think it's going to be great. Like, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. To be clear, this is not my typical some dumb alternative jersey, which I hate. They're almost all terrible. I hate the whole thing. This is not that. I mean, at least this is a traditional uniforms. So, yeah, try it one time. And
well, they're doing it at least twice.
Okay, so they're definitely doing it both places.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, give it a shot. I'll keep an open mind. I don't want to be a total hater.
I mean, is this going to be a thing from now on? Like, have we seen the last of Tennessee and Alabama wearing their road uniforms against each other?
That'd be weird. That'd be weird, man. That'd be weird, I must say. But maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe it'll be so widely celebrated when everybody sees it out there that they'll just keep doing it. I do have some people agreeing with me. I appreciate it. All my takes that get crapped on, I do have some. Thank you, Chris in Nashville. Road teams wear white, unless like Washington and Dallas in the NFL, for example. Like those teams, really their primary home jerseys over the years is white, right?
Washington's used to be. I think they've kind of gone away from that, but Dallas for sure. I mean, LSU and the SEC, they wear white at home, right?
That's right.
So
that's a good point.
Just depends.
Yeah, it just depends. Yeah. Let's not get to the point where like in like hockey and basketball where all of a sudden it's flipped around and like the road team is always wearing white. I guess it's too confusing for me,
You mean the home team is always wearing white because the road team wears white now in hockey.
Right, but I hate that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But it used to, when I was growing up, it was the home team wearing white and the road team wore the dark colored jersey.
Exactly.
Yeah. I kind of would like to see them switch back to that.
I would too. That's what I'm saying. I mean, how recent has that been? That's pretty recent, isn't it?
That was probably after the lockout. So I think 06 is probably when they started that. 05.
So you're telling me
that long ago, huh?
You're telling me 20 years, I would have guessed 4.
Yeah, I guess.
It's been 20.
I guess the Preds' third jerseys were those blue ones.
Yeah.
Or the mustard.
Yeah.
And they would wear those at home.
Yeah, it's been. I think the lockout's when it started. I think when Paul Correa first signed with the Predators, they were wearing blue at home. So it's been 20 years.
Wow. Okay. There's another sobering reality for me. Bradford says, I agree with rocks in the road. Thank you.
Nice. Somebody wondering if we called the Tennessee-Alabama game the apple-orange game. I don't believe so. I don't even know what that means.
That's a reference to the uniform clash, I guess, right?
I guess.
Ed says, I like the dark uniforms because it's more intimidating. Lighter equals soft. Yeah, the Raiders have always believed that the black jerseys are intimidating. And
it's worked out well for them.
Yeah, but I mean, like the Patriots or what? I mean, like there's plenty of teams that have just absolutely crushed other teams while not wearing super dark colors.
I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily call orange intimidating either, right? Like it's just like, oh, Tennessee's wearing orange.
Yeah. No, yeah, but when
they're
really good and have really good players, then
it becomes more
like
intimidating.
when Al Wilson's wearing that jersey, then you're intimidated.
Yeah, when you look across the line of scrimmage, you're like, oh, there's John Henderson. Yeah. Great.
Reggie White.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll have the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Take your thoughts at 615-737-1025. I'd like to thank the text line for another win this week in the argument for me. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 the game. Hey, Robby, Stanley here. Fantasy football right around the corner. You're planning your drafts and you're looking for the perfect spot to have your draft, and I've got it for you. It's Twin Peaks. 29-degree draft beers, bites for the whole team, a $50 bonus card for the commish, and an additional $5 bonus card for every drafter as well. We've had drafts there. We absolutely love it. Call to book your draft party today at the Twin Peaks Madison location. Visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/fantasy draft for more information. That's twinpeaksrestaurant.com/fantasy draft.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Dude, especially because of like the head.
Was that all gas, no brakes, Robert?
So I'm the jerk.
Put little brakes on your coaching, please.
They're rather loose over there at Michigan State with meth making.
Paul, go find a slogan.
Joe's
You
Gout
really-
Support Hotline.
Yeah.
How may I help you?
My diagnosis is that it's not gout.
Yes, I have an appointment open Friday afternoon. God knows I'm not writing anything for the Athletic.
There's Joe's barefoot.
Gross, my toes. Plus, the color is exactly beer.
Now we're getting into Butch Jones territory. What was the color?
You are a bad guy with your dark urine.
It is time for the Rex Rant, served by the Wine Cellar in Hendersonville. Joseph, the floor is yours after another outstanding mashup from Ian.
Thank you. Sorry. Foam on the beer. Foam. You know, just different words. Whatever. All right. So I'm going to talk today about something that Katie sent me yesterday. It kind of freaked me out. I'm reading this from CBS News. The Food and Drug Administration upgraded a recall of frozen blueberries and mixed berries sold at Publix grocery stores across the U.S. to the highest health risk level on Tuesday. Public announced a recall of 4 varieties, green-wise, organic, mixed berries. The FDA is now categorizing it as a Class 1 recall, which the agency assigns to product recalls, quote, in which there is a reasonable probability that the use of or exposure to a violative product will cause serious adverse health consequences or death, end quote. Do you know how many freaking blueberries I bought at that store?
I wouldn't eat them.
I eat blueberries all the damn time.
The frozen ones?
Luckily, we do have those because we make
smoothies.
Yes. So we do it. We have a lot of frozen. Now, in my eatings, I guess, I get fresh ones and I put them like in yogurt or on cereal, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Sure.
But yes, we have all kinds of blueberries, okay, all over the house. So it's like, oh, these can actually kill you. By the way, these were to continue to read the story here. So far, no deaths have been reported.
Well, that's good.
But these are products that were shipped to public stores in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. So there you go. So first of all, little PSA for you all, okay? And also a reminder that last week, the FDA also upgraded the egg recall to the highest health risk. Potential salmonella contamination could kill you. E. coli, if you don't know, is a bacteria that can, stomach cramps, diarrhea, vomiting, and then can also lead to kidney failure and kill you. So, first of all, I'm a little freaked out by this. I've already, in the last few weeks, really kind of locked it down to I barely eat vegetables anymore. What is happening right now with our food? Here are foods that have been recalled. There's a partial list of foods that have been recalled here recently. We know the iceberg lettuce with the cyclospora diarrhea virus.
I'm still not eating lettuce.
Either am I. We got the eggs, the berries, pistachio nut butter, green powder supplements, jalapeno-containing dips, salsa and guacamole products, soup kits, salad dressings, granola, dog food, jalapeno peppers, pizza cheese bread products, dried herring fish, soft ricotta cheese, infant formula, a lot of cheese varieties, cottage cheese, enoki mushrooms, Parmesan ranch seasoning, cheese and garlic croutons. We got potato chips and pork rinds and sour cream and onion cheese curds. Yeah, there's been potato chips that have been recalled. And that was back in May. So now we're going back. So This was before this summer thing of all of a sudden, no fresh foods can be eaten. I mean, what is happening right now? What is happening? What is safe? When can we eat something other than something that's out of a box? Because that's not supposed to be good for you either, right? Trying to get away from processed foods.
It's better than death.
Trying to eat. It is. But then again, some of those things will all of a sudden they'll be like, oh yeah, we had a recall on, Triscuits. Oh crap. I just ate a bunch of Triscuits. What is happening? Someone help me.
Keith says, actually, I hadn't heard about this. I buy those blueberries from Publix. You may have just saved my life, Joe. You're a man of the people.
Well, there
That's
you
why
go.
we're putting it out there.
I mean, I seriously was like, we need a PSA in case people miss this. When I saw it yesterday, I was like, what? Death? Publix blueberries? Drew and Clemmy.
Is it just, so to be clear, it's just the frozen ones? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yes, that is correct. So, but I'm still not buying, I'm not buying the fresh ones now. And that used to be blueberries, that's an antioxidant. That's a good food, right?
Good for the gout.
I mean, I would think so. I mean, I just ate a bunch of cherries last week just in case, let's keep that gout away. But I'm down to I'm still buying avocados. And I'm buying canned vegetables. I eat those, but I basically am just leaving the produce section alone. That's supposed to be the section that you're most.
If you get the frozen blueberries and then you boil it in water, does that take out the E. coli? Do we know?
I don't know.
That's what you're supposed to do to the lettuce, right? You just cook that thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, no. Then you're supposed to eat that. Then
still know.
Some delicious hot blueberries. How about some nice hot lettuce?
Yeah, that'd be good.
There's few things grosser than hot lettuce. I don't know, man. It's alarming, and I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, is that what it is? I mean, it's just basically the FDA is too strapped to figure it out. I don't know. I don't want to turn this into a political discussion, which some people are on the text line, but I'm just saying, we'd like to we're already bitching about how much food costs, and it's terrible. I'd like it to be edible and not kill us.
Yeah,
okay?
could be good.
Can we do that?
Drew in Columbia says, Joe, just don't carry the loose blueberries around in your cargo short pockets. Go back to the mints there. Oh, boy.
I did have, by the way, last week.
Have you offered anyone a pocket mint lately?
No, but I didn't offer anybody, but I thought of you guys because last week, unfortunately, I mean, I had to wear a suit, at my mother-in-law's funeral, but I did have several pocket mints loose because I'm not going to bring the entire, Altoids like metal thing. You know what I mean?
Ian, would you accept a pocket mint if offered from Rexrode?
I wouldn't even eat my own pocket mints.
I will say that I kept them on one side all by themselves. So cell phone was the other side. And these were freshly dry cleaned suit pants.
Do you do a lint check?
If you're going to eat a pocket mint.
You got one solo pocket just for mints, huh?
That's because I'm grossed out by the idea of I don't want stuff rubbing on them. I want them to be clean in my, you know what I mean?
Do you do a lint check before you, you put them in your mouth? Clip
That's no, probably should.
Or a quick little,
just hanging out in the pocket. You may want to check to see if there's something on there.
I mean, I guess I look at them.
Drop something on the floor, a little quick.
Yeah,
just a little.
Blow that thing off.
Yeah,
a
brush
bit.
off real quick,
hey,
and then we're good. Yeah,
make sure there's nothing hanging around here.
Next time.
But I mean, apparently even that safer than normal food right now. Safer than blueberries.
Someone's like, y'all need to give this food discussion a break. Some of us hadn't had breakfast yet. Yeah. Well, were you about to put frozen blueberries on your pancakes? I sure hope not. Don't die.
Somebody sent us a picture of blueberries. Said could have used this 20 minutes earlier, but they look like they're fresh blueberries. So I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Ed says no recalls on White Castle. Just saying. Maybe I may have to go back to that and see how long it takes until my stomach explodes.
Jeff from Nebraska says, I run a meat department at a big grocery store in Nebraska. You guys have no idea how many recalls come through almost daily.
And so
that makes me feel good.
So let me ask you, Jeff, in response to that, are we talking like a huge uptick? It just seems like it's this crazy increase, right? Sometimes a big story happens and that's the perception, but not the reality. I mean, is it way more now? Let us know, Jeff.
Robert says, pocket mints are safer than fresh produce. What a wild time we live in.
In White Castle.
That's right. Charles Robinson will be with us coming up next. We got a lot of things around the NFL to get into with him. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Thursday morning. We head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Charles Robinson to the program from NFLBlueBook.com. Charles, good morning. How are you?
What's going on, gents? How you doing today?
How are we holding up throughout the training camp tour?
I'm a week from the end of it. So yeah, I'm actually in Ashburn. I was at Ashburn, Virginia. I was in Commander's Camp yesterday. So coming up on the tail end of it, and looking forward to getting home and starting to write a lot of the stuff that I've collected and just not had time to do since I'm running from one place to the next.
Did you have any number 5 on your person yesterday? No, any shirt that had the number 5 on it? Did Jaden Daniels give you a stink eye if you looked at him that way? Like, what'd you think of all that?
Yeah, that was that whole deal. It's funny because, you talk to people inside the team and they're just like, it clearly was one of those things that just came out of left field, that whole dispute. And they're definitely hanging it on, Jaden's kind of surrounding camp. And, they're like, look, dude's busy. He's at camp. He's concentrating on football. Like, that's other people who are making, raising issues and creating problems. And I think clearly now that's kind of moved past a little bit. The commanders internally are like, can we not let something like that happen again? It was definitely a distraction, at least momentarily in camp. And, it's just I'm telling you, you go through these camps and they'll tell you all kinds of little weird things. That obviously is a very high profile one, but, they'll tell you things that pop up out of nowhere that are unexpected. And, when you went through Vikings camp, I was talking to somebody there and they're like, we're just kind of sitting, minding our own business. And then the Diana Rossini, mentions Kevin O'Connell at a stop for a traffic ticket. They're like, and all of a sudden we're calls about that. And we're like, what are we doing? We're not doing anything. We don't have anything to do with any of this. Like, why are we getting dragged into this? So yeah, it's always interesting to kind of hear the side shows or the little, mini fires that organizations are trying to put out that you don't sometimes hear about them, sometimes you don't.
Like when Jaden makes a good play and someone wants to high five him, do they put the thumb in like, high four, Jaden?
Oh, stop.
He was really proud of that one too.
All right.
That was building up.
I'm glad
I retract that joke. Okay.
So, Charles, I don't know how much you got a chance to see Cam Ward's performance last week. It was not good. He was 5 of 12, 57 yards, some inaccuracy along the way.
Yeah.
For the most part, it sounds like practices have gone pretty well for him. What we've seen in the game, I think, has raised a lot of concern for Titans fans here. So what do you make of kind of that and the discussion around him right now, which is basically around here? Like, is he ever going to be accurate enough to be, a franchise quarterback in the NFL?
Well, you're happy it happened in obviously preseason because it gives you an opportunity to try to fix, that inaccuracy. But I mean, a lot of that is, it's just decision making, and they're going to have to structurally figure out, ways to, I think, give him some wins in early reps and hope that he can build on that and continue to, make the right decisions as he goes through games. But when I went through there, I mean, that was certainly a topic of conversation when I sat down with someone in the organization about, and we talked, at length about Cam and just getting that level of consistency where, his thought processes. And I think I talked to you about this last week, Robby, take the layups. It's okay to still do the off script stuff. It's okay to be aggressive, but let's make sure you have a base of layups that you work through first. And then, we'll limit the shots that you take and try to make them a little higher quality. That's not unlike what Brian Daboll went through, with Josh Allen. They're not the same player, certainly not the same arm strength, not the same mobility. But, Josh went through several years of, refining that decision-making process and not trying to, take lower percentage throws and just take the things that Dayball was engineering for him to have some simplicity in his game. But it's not great. Obviously it's worrisome because you're like, is this now become a trend? Because we've seen it in the past with Cam, and it's not year 2 for him. This is supposed to be a very pivotal, when you jump from, year 1 to year 2, and then, you got to see a step. That's the bottom line. And I guess you put it on Dayball and you just expect that he's going to have his program and his progression and whatever the plan is. Ultimately, you're just going to have to grin and bear it until he can get through it. So, do you guys sense panic? In the organization, when I went through, and obviously when I say it's not year 2 for him, it's not year 2 of Cam having to learn to, take the smaller stuff. He went through this in college too. He came out of Miami, every time he went through the portal and he graduated to the next step, that was always a conversation about, you can make the big plays and the splash stuff, but you got to learn how to be a little more conservative. And even through the draft process, I think teams told him that.
No, the entire town of Nashville's panicking, but it's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. No, but in all seriousness, yeah, it's I'd say that as preseason games go, it'd be good more outside, more from the fan perspective, but I think it'd be good. It'd probably be good for him though, too, confidence wise, to string together some good plays and in front of the home crowd Sunday, And I do think they're trying to do that with him. I do. I think that is a goal in this camp, is to try to string together good plays and string together some consistency. But I'll say this, it does take time for guys, even guys that are able to rewire, how they go through their progressions and pulling it back a little bit. I don't know that that's really like a 1-year process. And remember, he's already going through 2 different staffs. This is only his 2nd year in the NFL, and he's already had that changeover. So this is, his first year with Brian and his first off season with Brian. And it may take time. And I know there's a lot of anxiety that goes into that, but the fact is, what if Cam ends up being like a 65%, completion percentage guy, but you can limit his turnovers. I think that's fine. I think you can win Super Bowls with that kind of player. And I don't know that he's that far from it, but there's a big difference between being a 59, 60% passer and a 65% passer who makes better decisions.
Well, and I think too, Charles, it happened on the same night. And again, I completely understand that we're talking about NFL preseason games here, so let's keep that in mind. But it came on the same night of, Mendoza looking pretty good for the Raiders. And I know you've gone through Raiders camp and you've talked to, to people about Mendoza and maybe him potentially making a decision pretty interesting there when it comes to him and Kirk Cousins. So, yeah, that kind of all going on at the same time. So I guess built off that, what do you make of kind of the progress you've seen from or you've heard about from Mendoza to this point?
Well, and this is what's funny about when we look at this. They're both facing, particularly when you go through the first, preseason game, you're facing not much, right? You're not, the defenses aren't throwing everything out there at all. It's the most basic level stuff. So that's what's concerning, is that you see a guy like Mendoza who goes out there, and again, he didn't go out with the ones, he went out in the second wave, and he looked sharp. I think he looked decisive. He looked, the things that they've worked on him with him in terms of taking snaps under center, turning your back on a defense, going through play action, and then going through your progressions. That was definitely one thing where, talking to some people who had evaluated Mendoza, and we were just kind of talking about some highlights that we had seen or whatever after the first round of preseason games. And I had one guy say to me, well, the funny thing is when you go back and you look at his Indiana tape, you did not see a lot of going to the third progression for him. He was very much like a 1-2 progression guy. And it was fine because, he would get to his second progression and it would be open. but it did leave you wondering, like, what's going to happen in the NFL when he gets pressure? Is he going to drop his eyes and start to run around the pocket, which he would do at times, or is he going to stick in there, not get, a little, anxious in the pocket and forget to look for his third read? And he said, he was getting to his third reads, but he was also protected too. That's another thing. The protection for him in that game was pretty decent. I think he did take one hit, and completed a ball where clearly he probably felt that pressure. I think Mendoza has done enough. I think he was doing enough when I went through camp, and I think he's done enough to now to make it a conversation for the Raiders about, okay, well, if we want to move up, we still want to be patient, but if we want to move up the timeline on him, we could have the ability to ultimately do that. But I also think it's going to matter with wins and losses. I think they want to win games there. And I think if Cousins goes out and, we'll see if something like this happens, but let's say they start 5-2, they're not going to push Mendoza back out. They're going to sit on him as long as they possibly can. And that was one of the points when I talked to John Spytek, their GM, and I went through, we talked about the fact that, wow, the Chiefs, they really did sit on Mahomes for, a full season, other than the season finale that year when they finally let him start what was a meaningless game. And, Spytek's like, yeah, they won. They were in the playoff mix the whole year. He's like, that's a luxury. And I think the Raiders would love that, to be the luxury where they're in the mix, for the postseason or pushing for it. And then they could sit on Mendoza as long as possible. I think as soon as they're out of the mix, that whole conversation changes.
All right, Charles. So we've got these dudes, in the NFL who are, in NFL camps, who've signed NFL contracts, who are also getting temporary restraining orders from judges so that they can, return back to college football if it doesn't work out. And obviously, we've talked about it earlier in the show, like, this is against NCAA rules. It doesn't matter. The judges are, again, giving them injunctions, giving them temporary restraining orders to bypass NCAA rules because it's illegal, to deny, in these judges' eyes, to, restrict the earning ability. But I think most people would look at this and say it's just ridiculous. You can't. You're in the NFL. You can't come back to college football. College football has no answer unless they get, Washington throws them a life preserver, or again they totally revamp the system and have their own CBA. But what about the NFL, Charles? How would it work? I'm just thinking about Roger Goodell looking at this saying this is stupid, and making it so, if someone were to do this, okay, well, now you're no longer eligible to play in the NFL or something like that. And the NBA has its, the NFL has its rules about how long someone can come into the league. You have to be 3 years out of high school, right? Sure. A certain age.
Right.
The NBA has a rule. Could something like that happen? Because I will say the NFL has been an incredible beneficiary of what college football does for it. It's an app that not one dime spent, and here's your free scouting system. Here's your free minor league system. Just show up at the stadiums. You can scout all these guys, and then it is. That's what it is. It's the minor leagues for the NFL, but they don't pay a dime for it. Why can they do something to help college football?
Well, I think, okay, so it's you really, there's two questions here. Could they do something? And number two, do they want to do something? So could they do something? Look, I'm not a labor lawyer. I can say that historically, obviously, you can't enter the league until you're 3 years removed from your graduating high school class. That's stood up over the test of time, and we've had guys challenge that. Obviously, Maurice Claret, Mike Williams, who was a USC receiver at that time. There were individuals who attempted to challenge it, and it did not work. And I think a lot of that is based on the fact that this is a business. There's a CBA in place. It's collectively bargained. Players have a union, and it's contract between owners and a labor union, and that's different than what exists obviously on the NCAA level. And again, I'm not a labor lawyer here, so I can't, give me a couple of weeks and I could probably give you the really granular, nerdy answer to this. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that, how are players viewed on the college level? They're not considered labor. They don't have a union. There's no CBA in place. And so I think that opens up a lot of a lot of what you can get into in terms of the court system, on the collegiate level. On the NFL level, most of these cases, I mean, they're all privately arbitrated. The arbitration process is private, goes through the collectively bargained arbitration process. It all gets pushed into that. And so I think in terms of could the NFL do something to help? Yeah, I think, through, collective bargaining, I'm sure there's an avenue that they could figure out if we start to have players who are going to camps, which is what you're referring to right now, going through camps with NFL teams, potentially getting cut, and then, possibly having that door open to go then back and play out some eligibility on a college level. Could the NFL try to address that along with the union down the line? I think they could. I don't know what all the ins and outs of it would be. I think, the one thing you get into is you don't want, so there's the Sherman Antitrust Act. You don't want to get into a territory where somehow you have players are saying, okay, I'm eligible to come back. Let's say I went to the NFL, I got cut in a camp, I had eligibility, I went back to the NCAA, and now I want to come back again, and now you're stopping me. I don't know if there's a lawsuit there where you can say you're restricting my right to work, and then that falls under the Antitrust Act, and then all of a sudden you're getting into the weeds there. Maybe that's the problem. But then the second thing, and
but like you said, real quick though,
but like, want to.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I mean, to me, it sounds like, again, these rules that they have that have been challenged, I mean, you would think it would be under the same umbrella, but go ahead.
Well, but it's getting challenged on the collegiate end because it can get challenged on the collegiate end. I think it's much more difficult to challenge it on the NFL end because, again, it's a labor agreement. It's an agreement. It's a workplace employment, issue, and it's an agreement between a group of owners and a union and their employees. They're considered employees. They're classified as employees. That's different than what's going on the collegiate level, and I think that's why you see the challenges on the collegiate level having some success with the temporary restraining orders. So I don't think I think it's kind of apples and oranges, but I do think there's a possibility certainly for the NFL to try to work it on its end. But to get to that second part, does the NFL want to? I don't think so. I don't think the NFL really has the inclination, other than the age restriction, because they don't want players coming in, at 18, 19 years old, 1 or 2 years removed from their high school graduating class. I don't think that they're going to sit there and want to work this problem. As you said, it's been a free minor league system for a long time. And unless there is some major disruption to the NFL based on what's happening on the collegiate level, which there might be, then
it looks stupid.
They don't care about that, though.
Yeah, but it looks way more stupid for college football, and obviously just in general, where you can all agree like this is dumb. I feel like it looks kind of dumb for the NFL though. If like you got guys who are in your league, I mean, it's a big deal to get into the NFL, to sign a contract with the NFL, and be like, yeah, you know what? I make a little more money over here. I'm going to bail out and go back to college. I don't know. I mean, I feel like public opinion on this, if it were to get to the conversation of, okay, NFL, throw a life preserver, I feel like, it's something where it's like, if it's pretty painless for them, why not do it? Like you're helping football in general.
Thing what you just said is, if the NFL feels like it gets to a point where it's competing to retain its labor. So let's say you draft a guy, right? Let's say I'll bring up Quinn Ewers, right? Because Quinn Ewers was a player who certainly could have stayed an extra year in college, made some money,
made more money.
Went to the draft. He ends up being a late round draft pick for Miami. Say Ewers goes, it all goes the way that it went, and I think he was a 6th round pick of the Dolphins. And you're getting through camp, and the Dolphins are staring at him, going, okay, he's not ready now, but he can certainly be our backup, or maybe even we'll carry 3 quarterbacks, but we see a future for him. It'll just take us a couple years to get there, but we're happy with this, and we spent a 6th round pick on him. I think if you're halfway through camp and Quinn Ewers goes, man, I'm just going to be a backup here, or I might only be the 3rd quarterback, and Oregon is still calling me. I'm going to go back. I'm just going to bounce, and I'm going to go to Oregon and take up that last year of eligibility and the money that Oregon has on the table. if that were to happen, then I think the NFL is sitting there going, wait a minute, we're drafting guys into our league, and now we have to compete to keep guys that we've spent a draft pick on because they are willingly leaving. We're not cutting them, and then they're going back. They're willingly. Like, you get to a point where you have players who don't want to be backups or saying, hey, I'm a 6th or 7th round pick. I can help on special teams, but I really would rather go back and make a couple $1 million.
Yeah, Texas A&M is going to pay me $2 million. I'm key.
Then I think that's a different conversation. I think if the NFL feels like it's competing to keep its labor after that labor's been drafted into the league, and the players are the ones that are driving the motivation behind this. They're like, hey, I'm only half in and half out. Like I got drafted way later than I thought. Like, what if it had happened with Shedeur? Shedeur goes in the 5th round of the Browns, and he's like, what? Like, nah, I can definitely go back and make, maybe somebody will pay me $10 million to play, and the Browns drafted him to potentially look at him as an asset that they got deeper in the draft because of other things. Like, oh, geez, we got a guy in the 5th that we feel like we could have gotten in the 2nd or the 3rd. Yeah, they would have a problem with that. Certainly. There's no doubt if they thought he was a functional, developable player. That's a different conversation. So if that happens, then I think you're going to see the NFL is going to say, all right, we got to work this on our end of this, because we can't have teams drafting players and then all of a sudden, or I mean, it's feasible too that you have undrafted players, undrafted rookie free agents who are in camps and have a really good camp. And then all of a sudden, well, I'll give you one, like Michael Trigg, right? And in Dallas, undrafted free agent out of Baylor, went through 3 different programs, had all kinds of maturity stuff tied to him. So he ends up not getting drafted. He probably would have been like a mid-round pick if he didn't have all the kind of potential character red flags. Well, Triggs had a pretty good camp for the Cowboys. Looks like he could make their 53-man roster. If a college program came to him now and said, hey, you're going to make the roster there, but, you're probably going to be the 3rd tight end. Come here, we'll pay you $5 million this year, whatever. I'm just throwing a number out. And Trigg was like, yeah, I'm going to go for the money. I guarantee you the Cowboys have a significant problem with that. So, even if it's undrafted guys, teams don't want to lose players that they know can help them. So you don't want a situation where potential rookie backups might be vying for college money. That hasn't happened right yet. It could happen. I think anything's on the table nowadays. And if it does, then I think the NFL takes a completely different track on this. But I understand the sentiment, Joe. I just think the NFL also looks at college and says, that's a mess, and we're not in charge of that mess. We're in charge of our own mess. We have our own problems. We don't want to also clean up and I know, Joe, you call it a free minor league system. The NFL looks at college and says, it made a lot of money, for years and years and years. And our rule of not allowing players to come into the league until after their 3rd year departing their high school class has actually helped you retain a lot of talent, make a lot of money over a lot of years. So why do we need to help you with more of this?
That's a good question. So Charles, last thing for you. At age 37, what do you think Von Miller is bringing to the Dallas Cowboys?
15 snaps a game, maybe 20, I think the way I look at it is, remember Dwight Freeney when he caught on with the Falcons late in his NFL career, and he was part of, unless I'm losing my mind, because I'm picturing myself in the locker room talking to Dwight Freeney that year they made the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots. But Dwight Freeney caught on with the Falcons late in his career, and he was a very good player for them. Like he gave them, a solid rotation of snaps. He was really good in the locker room. I think he helped some of their other young pass rushers kind of, maybe understand some ins and outs of things that only he could bring to the table because he was the level of player that he is. I think Miller's the same thing for the Cowboys. I think he's certainly not going to be the, heavy usage player that he's been earlier in his career. And I think, they've been pretty open about that. So I think he's a good rotational piece for them. I think you'll see, he'll be a guy who's capable of getting, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 sacks this season in that rotational role, but he's not going to be, the staple Von Miller player we've seen in the past. It's valuable though, I think, to the Cowboys and that defense, and Christian Parker, their new defensive coordinator, the switch to the 3-4, a lot of the changes that they've made with personnel, bringing in, Caleb Downs obviously drafted, Jay Sean Barham, the kid they drafted out of Michigan that they're probably going to use in a lot of different ways. Rashawn Gary, getting Quinn Williams under a long-term contract. You can see the changes that they've made to make that defense much, much better. I think it's going to be the Cowboys have a chance. I think if that defense plays to where I think it could, which they would like top half of the league. So we're talking like 15, 16. I think they could be top 10 if it really comes together with the talent that they have there. And if that happens, I think Cowboys are going to be a pretty good team this year.
Charles, awesome stuff, man. Appreciate you taking time to be with us this week. Enjoy the final week of the training camp tour coming up. You're almost there, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
All right. Sounds good, guys. I'll talk to you. I'll be off the road officially when we talk again. So I'm excited about that.
There we go.
All right.
Very nice. Charles Robinson from NFLBlueBook.com, our guest here on the program. Lots to react to there from Charles. We'll do that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Hang out with us on Friday, August the 28th at T-Line in West Nashville as we celebrate 102.5 The Game's 15th year of being on the air. Also, we got gifts for you, the listeners, every hour starting at 6 a.m. Listen for a chance to win Preds tickets, Vandy tickets, concert tickets, and a whole lot more. Plus, be sure to stop by T-Line and get signed up for a chance to win Nashville Predators season tickets as well. For more information, visit thegamenashville.com/birthday. Looking forward to that. Coming up next week. Appreciate Charles Robinson for being with us in the last segment. We welcome your thoughts at 615-737-1025. By the way, real quickly, people have been asking about this. The Robby and Rexrode Fantasy Football League, the 2026 Robby and Rexrode Fantasy Football League. We will give away our first spot in that league tomorrow. So tomorrow on the show, our first spot in the 2026 Robby and Rexrode Fantasy Football League will be given away. We do not have a returning member of the league from our listeners because Ian Safar won the championship last year. Yes. So it's a brand new league. Brand new out there. So look forward to that.
Brand new. Kaharski is wussed out, so he can't hang with the big boys. He can't hang with the big dogs.
It's been proven.
He's going to have to play in some, probably like subscribers to paulkaharski.com who are sycophants who let him win or something like that. Which I guess means he finally, as a near 19-year-old against his 50-something dad, finally beats me when I've been dominating the entire time. But congrats to him.
I don't know if that was a very sincere compliment, but.
Well, that's just reality. I mean, we had, I beat him the first game 11-8, beat me in the second game 12-10. Third game was tied 10-all. And I said, Brennan, if I beat you, I want you to know I had the ball at this point. I said, I want you to know that there will not be any other topics on the radio program tomorrow. Yeah. This will be the only topic on the radio program if I beat you. But, of course, I shouldn't have talked trash. It was 10-all, and he ended up hitting a mid-range to beat me 12-10.
Tough one there. Tough one there.
I know everybody was really just begging to hear about this.
Yeah. We got some preseason action tonight in the NFL. You got the Raiders and the Texans tonight, the Niners and the Chargers. How closely will you be watching a little Fernando Mendoza action tonight?
Well, like Charles essentially suggesting that Mendoza is maybe causing a rethink in there. So, yeah, I'm interested to watch some Mendoza. I'm interested to watch some Mendoza and see how he plays. Obviously, for my
can they interview him while he's playing?
A mic'd up on him would that be awesome?
Yes,
oh my God, that was an amazing route that you just ran. Do you know how good that route was? Remember when we worked on that last Thursday?
Look how big this human is. It's going to blitz over here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's something else. Like I'd like to see Cousins have it, be able to have some success and have some starts and all that stuff, but if Mendoza's going to play well, like really well and be sharp right away, and like Charles said, like are they going to win with Cousins? Are they it may not be too long. Also, people in this town watch Mendoza and there's the last number 1 pick.
Yep.
But let's also remember, actually, you remind me, I don't know. Did Cam have good preseason game performances last year? I don't remember.
I don't think he played a ton, right? I don't remember anything that stands out. So to answer your question, I have no idea.
Like, I don't remember a lot of things. So that's the whole thing.
There are very few preseason memories in my life that stand out to me. There's a couple. Like, I remember the Titans turn around and hand the ball off to Chris Johnson one time preseason game. I was like, good grief, look at that guy.
Yeah.
I remember they played Mahomes before Mahomes was the starting quarterback, and he rolled out to his right, and he threw a ball on the run about 55 yards down the field. And I was like, who is this kid at quarterback? Turns out he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So very rarely you'll have some moments in the preseason that I remember, but I don't remember much from Cam last year.
Yeah, because I feel like that the reaction to the first performance, which again, it was bad. I feel like it's something we might remember next year, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe
because I don't remember last year. So it's like, yeah, he didn't play much.
I think it's going to
whatever.
Probably depend entirely on how the rest of this year goes. If he plays well throughout the year, then we probably won't. If it's not good, we'll probably look back and say, yeah, there was a sign in the first preseason game that this may not go very well.
That's true. So if Mendoza's awesome tonight, like that, I get it. I get why a Titans fan would be like, exasperated by that. But let's also like the reaction of like, Curtis Rourke, another Indiana quarterback, Curtis Rourke is just way better than Cam Ward. It's like, well, let's remember who he's playing against. I understand Cam was also playing it, but preseason, man, it's not game planned. It's just, it is, you have to, it's not, I know it's game conditions, but like, it's really not game conditions. It's tackling and all that stuff and you're running plays, but it's just, if you have a good OC, and I think the Titans do have one, that might make a big difference for a Cam Ward in an actual game against an opponent where you're actually trying to isolate certain matchups and you're actually, you have a plan to try to win the football game. That is different.
You want to see this headline from the San Francisco Chronicle from yesterday?
Uh-oh.
Curtis Rourke's dazzling 49ers debut could open door to a Mac Jones trade. That's the headline at the San Francisco Chronicle from yesterday.
Interesting. Now that's by the way, I mean, that applies to the Titans too, because there's a guy who people actually would like to trade for as a backup quarterback potentially, right?
Mac Jones?
Mac Jones, yeah. I think Mac Jones is at the very least like an attractive QB too.
For sure, especially because he's now been in the Shanahan system.
That is true.
I mean, in all seriousness, like I know we kind of look at Darnold and he went to Minnesota and it took off, but the stop he was before that was San Francisco, and it seems to have worked out pretty well.
And I'm quite sure that the first I heard of like, man, Darnold looks really good was Charles on our show, right?
Yes.
I think it was. It was like Darnold, like they're like Darnold's a dude. And so yeah, it's like the ultimate car wash for the quarterback. Go play for Shanahan for a little bit.
Floyd on the YouTube chat says he was at practice yesterday. Levis looked pretty good to him. Cam is smaller than he realized. Apparently Levis looking good to Floyd yesterday at practice.
Yeah, no, I think Levis had a good day for whatever that's worth. So that's good. Interesting take on Cam. He's not huge. Yeah, I mean, Cam's like, what is he officially? 6'1", 6'2"?
I don't think he's even 6'1". Let's see here. Let's find his
But
official listing. He's officially listed at 6'2", 219.
Yeah. No, he's on the smaller end. He's not a
6'2".
He's not a towering quarterback. Now, if you stand him next to Kyler Murray, then
yeah,
he looks huge. But
well, they said he's lost 15 pounds this year, right?
You can see that.
You can see that. Yeah,
I think you can do it, and that's good. I mean, that should be good. Got to move better, man. Got to be able to move better, even as a game manager. Got to move better.
615-737-1025. More coming up in reaction to Charles. We'll wrap up the show coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Outdoor patios, landscaping design, lawn maintenance, and more. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Rexrode just showed me a very interesting graphic that the Titans kind of illustrates the company they've kept over the last few years.
Thanks to Matt at Steeler Vol for life, a Steelers and Vols fan for life. Yeah, this is where Twitter still has some value. He sent me this graphic that I guess they just showed on ESPN. Wins since February of 2022. By the way, that's when the Titans traded A.J. Brown. Scotty Scheffler, 21. Northwestern football, 20. Boston College football, Arizona Cardinals, Tennessee Titans, 19.
Oh, boy.
And by the way, and I think this is accurate, then a response to that, that was 2022. So we're counting their 7 wins for that year when they started 7-3. We're counting those, right? So since the end of that, right? So they're 12-46 in their last 58.
Yeah. So
Kaharski put 9-35 on his website on his 30-year thing, but that's discounting a 3-11 stretch before that to be 12-46, which to me means what we've concluded is that Paul Kaharski is running propaganda for the Titans.
Yes, I would agree.
Trying to make it seem not quite as bad as it was.
It's also objectively amazing how in that time period, Scotty Scheffler has become a golfing icon, and the Titans can have not won 20 games in that time period.
And
they play 17 a year.
Oh, my goodness. What company you're keeping, Tennessee Titans? Also, Steve said the combine height for Cam, the official, which is real, is 6'1" and 5'8". That sounds right. I mean, like, yeah,
so they're rounding up a little bit.
Yeah, a shade under 6'2" is right. He doesn't come off smallish, but obviously he's not one of these 6'5" monsters.
Austin Mock at The Athletic has come out with his NFL projection model, which this came out yesterday. For years, Kansas City dominated the AFC. Before that, it was New England. And apparently this year, in the AFC, wide open, according to Austin Mock's projection here. So, they factor in a bunch of things in this projection model. There's no team in the AFC, according to his model, that is projected to reach 11 wins. Now, I know that will not end up being the case.
No.
And there will be some teams that reach 11, 12 wins in those neighborhoods. The Ravens top the list at 10.9, so they're right there on the verge of it, followed by the Bills and the Patriots and the Bengals. Those are your top 4 in the AFC. The Titans coming in at 13th in this model in the AFC at 5.8 wins via projection. Only 3 teams in the AFC worse, the Jets, the Browns, and the Malik Willis-led Miami Dolphins, bringing up the rear down there at number 16.
Okay, so 4th worst in the AFC and just behind the Raiders. There's a big cutoff, too. Like 12 through 16 is Raiders to Dolphins, and that's a 6-2 to 4-5. From Raiders up to 11 with the Colts. Colts are 8.2.
Yeah.
Which is part of this projection. And as I look at the AFC, I do see a lot of what appear to be good teams, but who are the great teams?
Right.
Will the Ravens put it together with a new coach? Will the Bills put it together with a new coach? Are the Chiefs? What are the Chiefs now?
Are the Bills going to be able to stand on their field with how bad apparently the grass is at the new stadium?
There's that too.
And if they do, can anybody see them play in the new stadium? And there's a bunch of questions there.
Right. Like, will the Patriots fade despite the coaching of the Big Row? Will the Big Row keep them from fading or not? I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. Titans, we gotta get that trending.
Will there be fewer maybe news leaks from the Patriots this year? You think? Just fewer scoops, fewer stories getting broken out there.
They could be that too.
Okay,
they could be.
Just checking,
or could come out in a different place. Who knows?
Good. Yeah, good.
Titans, though, so that 5-8 also for Austin Mock includes a 14.7% chance of making the playoffs.
Good to know.
That's about what that seems about right? About 10 to 15% chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There we go.
What do they got the Dolphins at? 6.9.
Dang, man.
Okay.
6.9. Nice.
0.3% chance for the Super Bowl. according to this model for the Titans.
Yeah. So up to, I mean, the Super Bowl odds are like the highest are the Ravens at 7.4, but I love that the Dolphins are less than 0.1%. Boy, not loving the Dolphins out there. It's just
not a lot of
tough
faith in Malik.
Who's
he supposed to throw the ball?
Well,
to?
that's the thing. It's like, here's your big opportunity, Malik. And here's
Hand the ball off to Achane.
Here's a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's about all he's got.
Yeah. It's too bad. I'd love to see.
He looked pretty good in his first preseason game.
I'd love to see him, because that would be just a great example for everybody again of like,
yeah,
you can be something in a couple of years, and then in year 3, if you know, some people can actually get way better year 3, year 4. You know, it'd be fun to see.
I'd like to see it from his perspective. Seems like a good dude, so I hope good things happen to him.
Right.
I don't particularly want to have the combination of Cam Ward struggling and Malik Willis doing well as a starting quarterback in the NFL together at the same time for the mental well-being of Titans fans.
That is fair.
They've been through enough. I don't know that I need to see more of that.
Yeah. Well, and then just wait till Trevor Lawrence gets hurt, and then the Jags trade for Will Levis, and Billy Jeans goes down there and just takes over Duval. Add that to the mix.
It may not be a bad spot for him. Everybody makes the Liam Cohen connection, but I feel like Levis could thrive in the Milky Pool too.
Can you,
Florida man?
How milky would the mayo turn that pool?
Pretty milky.
If you're slathered in that mayo cologne, how milky would the pool
It'd
become?
Be pretty gross, I think.
Ian's like, okay, I'll save that one. Slathered.
Levis
That's
does have a
word.
good Florida man feel to him, a little bit actually.
You got to take advantage of it this year too, because is it next year they're in Orlando? I think it's next year.
I think that's right.
Okay. Probably not a milky pool there.
No, at that stadium, it's kind of a crappy stadium, but they definitely do not have a milky pool. Covered a lot of bad bowl games in that one.
Enjoy the preseason tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Adam Sparks and Teron Davenport on the show with us tomorrow. Next minute up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.